What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Mark Roden, and today we are going to be doing a little bit of a big video. Might honestly not be able to get it out tonight, which I'm hoping I can. It's already 8 o'clock. It is the 25 best first cars that you can buy for less than $3,000. Now, obviously, this is a video made specifically for people that like cars. So if you're just a high schooler that doesn't care about your car at all, and you could drive a Toyota Prius for all you care, these cars are not the best for you. These are like cars that are somewhat cool, but still reliable and cheap and good on gas and all that stuff for car guys that want a cool car that's still good in high school. Hope that makes any sense. But without further ado, let's get right into the video with the 25th spot. That's right, there's 25 of them. Alrighty, so number 25 is going to the Chevy Cruze for a Bruisin'. First generation, good old friend, pal, buddy, friendo, buddy. Comes with a 1.4 liter turbocharged inline-4 that makes 138 horsepower and it's front wheel drive. Weirdly, it actually also comes with a 1.8 liter naturally aspirated inline-4 that somehow manages to make the exact same horsepower number. So in terms of horsepower, it doesn't really matter which one you go with there. I chose the turbo one here because usually turbocharged cars are a little bit more reliable, so I would recommend going with that one, but it's up to you. Coming into the number 24 spot is the first of many Hondas. As a high schooler, you should definitely not be putting Hondas out of your imagination because they are incredible. The Honda Fit first generation, now hear me out, I know that you're probably like, who wants to drive a Fit in high school? I do. Comes with a 1.5 liter inline-4 making 109 horsepower and it is front wheel drive. Listen to me, ladies and gentlemen, I had a PT Cruiser as my first car in high school and I still had many friends, still went to parties, still had a good time. They don't care, and the Honda Fit is sick. You can make it sick. If it's stock, yeah, it's a little boring. Modify that puppy. Coming in at the location that is the 20 of thirds, it's the Volkswagen Jetta MK5. To be honest, any Jetta for less than $3,000 is a pretty good option because they're just really good cars. They come with a 2.5 liter inline-5, making 150 horsepower, and it is front-wheel drive. Pretty decent horsepower number for this list, actually. 150 is pretty, like, right there in the average range, I would say. And on top of that, this is like the German Civic. It's incredibly reliable. It's going to get you from point A to point B on time. It's very cheap to maintain them because there's millions of Jettas everywhere, and it's just really good on gas. Everything about it is good. Personally, I'm not a big fan of the looks, but that's just a personal opinion. Coming in at the number 22 spot is going to the first, I would say, actually like sporty car on this list with the Toyota Celica GT 7th generation. That's right, these things are kind of making a comeback and I'm all for it. It comes with a 1.8 liter inline-4 making 170 horsepower and they are front wheel drive. Right now, these cars are in that perfect little area where they're incredibly cheap, but they're still getting a little bit of praise. So you're still like a cool guy if you drive one, but they're still cheap to buy. Give it a little bit of time and these things are going to be ridiculously overpriced, I can already tell, but yeah, it's pretty good. It's Toyota. Nothing else to say about it. Coming into the number 21 spot is another Toyota. What, Mark? That's not a Toyota. That's a Scion TC first gen. That's not Toyota. You're an idiot, man. Scion is the same thing as Toyota. Buddy, learn how to do cross multiplication. Comes with a 2.4 liter inline-4 making 161 horsepower and it is front wheel drive. Honestly, a very decent horsepower number for such a lightweight car. Once again, it's a Toyota, so it's reliable. Not the best motor out there in terms of like making power on it, and it's not like gonna win you any awards at a car show or anything like that, but they're still pretty cool. Underrated for sure. Coming in at number 20, barely breaking its way into the top 20, it's the Cadillac Escalade 2nd generation. That's right, buddy. This is not... Well, you thought this was just going to be cars? No. There's 2 trucks on there because I tried to keep everybody in mind, so we have, like, an option for everybody. And this is the SUV, the big old SUV for the guy that has a lot of brains. Comes with a 6 liter V8 making 345 horsepower, and it is a 4x4. To be honest, I was honestly thinking about getting some sort of big SUV because I love driving my friends around all the time. I'm always sober and all my friends are always the one doing all the crazy stuff. So I like to drive and I would love to have an SUV to do that. So don't underestimate these SUVs. They really, if you're the type of person that likes to drive, likes to go out and do stuff with your pals, this honestly is a good idea. And it's really comfortable, very reliable, makes a lot of horsepower. Bad on gas though. Coming in at the number 19 spot is going to the king of reliability, the Volvo 240. These things, dude. Every single one of them on Facebook Marketplace has like over 250,000 miles and it looks like it just rolled off the lot. It's crazy. Comes with a 2.3 liter inline-4 making 115 horsepower. Yeah, Call of Duty Zombies. If you know, you know. And it's rear wheel drive. First rear wheel drive car of this list. You're going to have a blast with that, buddy old pal. And before you're like, oh, rear wheel drive is dangerous as a high schooler. I don't want to get into an accident and die. Oh, don't worry. It's a Volvo 240. It's one of the safest cars of the 90s. Pick it up. Coming in at the number 18 spot is going to the kind of guy that wants to look bougie with the Audi A4 B7. Sadly, the Audi A4 B7 is probably the most unreliable car we've talked about so far, but it's still pretty reliable. Comes with a 1.8 liter turbocharged inline-4, making 170 horsepower, and it's all-wheel drive. Correct me if I'm wrong, German boys, VAG boys, but is that the same engine that comes in the Mark IV GTI? I think it is. But anyway, very good car. It looks really cool. Has nice space. Very, very comfortable because it's an Audi. Just sadly, just not the best in terms of reliability. Coming into the number 17 spot is going to a car for the guy that just wants to have fun. If you're the car guy, you just want to have fun and you're like under 5 feet tall, this is for you, buddy. It's the Mazda Miata NA. Comes with a 1.8 liter inline-4, making 125 horsepower, and it is rear-wheel drive. Another one. There's actually a pretty decent amount of rear-wheel drive cars we got on this list, by the way, so strap in. But this guy, obviously, incredibly lightweight, low horsepower, rip it around corners, gotta be very short, not that safe. Make sure you know how to drive a car before buying one of these things. If you're, scared of buying it, don't buy it. But now we're gonna get into the exact same thing as the Miata, except front-wheel drive, the Honda Del Sol. Yeah, these are pretty much the same car, and I put the Del Sol one spot higher because I don't talk about it enough, and it's more underrated. Fight me about it. Comes with a 6 liter inline-4, making 106 horsepower, and it's front-wheel drive. Now, Hondas do have much better motors in terms of building power on them, so that is something to think about if you're going to go that route. They're around the same weight. They handle the same way. Front-wheel drive is going to probably keep you a lot safer. A Honda's obviously going to be a lot more reliable, a lot cheaper. Pick your poison. Coming in at the number 15 spot, however, is going to the wonderful Ford Crown Victoria. These things are getting a little bit up there in price. You used to be able to buy one of these for under $1,000. Nowadays, it's really hard to do that, but they're still a good option. They come with a 4.6 liter V8, making 235 horsepower. That's how old I am, just kidding. And it's rear-wheel drive. Very good motor. One of the fastest, actually it is the fastest car, I'm pretty sure, besides, in terms of horsepower, besides the Escalade we've talked about so far. Gonna have a blast with this thing for sure. It's very, very, very safe. There's really no downside to a Crown Vic besides gas mileage, and it's not the prettiest car out there. Coming in at number 14, however, is pretty much the Crown Vic, but more comfortable. The Lexus LS400. These LS400s are getting really popular recently, and they honestly deserve it. I don't think they deserve to be over $5,000, but they do deserve some hype. It comes with a 4 liter V8, making 270 horsepower, and it is rear-wheel drive. Obviously, that's an incredibly high horsepower number, but there are a couple downsides. Number one is no manual transmission. Obviously, that kind of sucks. Number two is these things are boats. They are heavy. They are some heavy AF cars, and that's really it for the downsides. By the way, I know it says a V8. Yes, it's a little bit bad on gas, but it is one of the most reliable V8s ever made, so keep that in mind. Coming in at the number 13 spot, however, is going to the Mitsubishi Eclipse GT 2nd generation. To be honest, it is going to be a little bit hard for you to find a GT 2G Eclipse for less than 3K, but even the base models are still really good. Comes with a 2 liter inline-4, making 140 horsepower, and it is front-wheel drive. Back down to the 100 horsepower range for a little bit because the Eclipse is just so sexy, man. It's also a really good toge car. It's pretty lightweight, handles really well. Motor in it is pretty good. Not as good as the GSX, obviously, but still pretty good. And it's just an all-around good car. Like, Paul Walker drove one. Coming in at the number 12 spot, however, is going to go to a car that everybody says is unreliable, but it's actually kind of reliable. The BMW 328i E9X. I have the X there because the number after 9 only stands for just whatever kind of body style you get, so whether it's a wagon, convertible, sedan, or coupe, and so just pick whichever one you want. It comes with a 3 liter inline-6, making 225 horsepower, and it is rear-wheel drive / all-wheel drive. You can pick between the two, which is really cool. 225 horsepower is really cool as well. Yes, it actually is kind of reliable. I know people are going to, no, it's a BMW, it's not. It is. Get over yourself, friendo. And you can pick the coupe if you want. Even the coupe is sometimes under 3K, but most likely you're only going to be able to buy a sedan. Coming in at the number 11 spot is going to the Ford Mother Truckin' Ranger, buddy. That's right, we're getting the final truck out of the way. After this, there's no more trucks. This is obviously for the kind of guy that likes trucks. Duh. Comes with a 4 liter V6, making 190 horsepower, and it is 4x4. Out of all the cars on this list, I would say that this is probably the most well-rounded car. It doesn't do anything great, but it doesn't do anything bad either. It's just a good, well-rounded daily driver that you can have fun with if you live in a rural area. Or is that urban? Which is rural, you know what I'm saying, country areas. If you live in one of those places, it's a really good option. Another car that's a very good option, but is a little bit more cool, in my opinion, if you live in one of those areas, is the Subaru Forester 1st/2nd generation. You can get either one for under 3K, so pick your poison. They're pretty much exactly the same car. They come with a 2.5 liter flat 4, making 165 horsepower, and they are all-wheel drive. Obviously a big bonus if you live in a winter area. They have tons of space because they're a hatchback. I drove one of these things, and they are just mwah, chef's kiss, man. Don't try turbocharging it though, because Subaru motors, when you add boost to them, they just don't like it. But other than that, is good car. Coming in at the number 9 spot, number 9 large, is a Chevy Camaro Z28 3rd generation. This is obviously for the boys that like the muscle cars. Comes with a 5-liter V8, making 145 horsepower. That's hilariously slow. And it is rear-wheel drive. Obviously, back in the late 80s, early 90s, we were still recovering from the gas crisis that we had, and so all the muscle cars were incredibly slow, and this one is no different. But because of that, they're incredibly cheap, and they're very reliable, look incredible in my opinion. I love the 3rd gen Camaros, and they're still fun because they got that rear-wheel drive aspect to them. Coming in at the number 8 spot, I can't believe I'm putting it this low on the list, by the way. It's the Honda Civic 6th generation. Before, in the past, I would have put this car at number 1, but over the years, I have learned of a lot of good cars. The 6th gen Civic comes with a 1.6 liter inline 4, making 106 horsepower, and it is front wheel drive. Yeah, that's pretty slow. It is a Honda, so you can get it a little bit faster, but it's going to take some work, and as a high schooler, you may not have the money to do that. And 6th gen Civics are sadly getting up there in price. They're kind of like EG Civics now. They're starting to raise, so it's kind of hard to find a really good option for less than 3K. Coming in at number 7 is a car that I do not talk about enough on this channel, the Subaru Legacy GT 4th generation. Honestly, any Subaru Legacy or Outback or any Subaru in general for less than 3K is a pretty good option. But the Legacy GT 4th gen comes with a 2.5 liter turbocharged flat 4, making 250 horsepower, and it's all-wheel drive. A little bit of an interesting fact for you, that is more horsepower than the WRX of the same time period. Mind-blowing how people don't talk about these cars more. I don't even talk about them enough, to be honest. What am I saying? I'm the problem. I'm the problem. But either way, great car. If you want a budget WRX that doesn't look as good, here you go. Coming in at the number 6 spot is a car that I do talk about quite a bit on this channel because it's just that good. It's the BMW 328i E46. The E46 is in that perfect BMW gray area right now, where they're not too expensive like the E30s, but they're not too they're not too cheap either and beat up like the E90s or something like that. Comes with a 3-liter inline 6, making 190 horsepower, and you get the option to choose between rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. Very beneficial there. Get the rear-wheel drive one though. If you don't, I'm going to make fun of you. Coming in at the number 5 spot is going to, in my opinion, just one of the best first cars in general, the Volkswagen GTI Mark IV. Oh my god, this thing is just, it just scratches all the itches. Comes with a 1.8 liter turbocharged inline 4, making 170 horsepower, and it is front wheel drive. Even though I do love this car and I think it's an amazing first car, the reason why it's not higher is because for under 3K, the ones that you're going to find are probably going to be very sketchy. So if you are going to buy one of these Mark IV GTIs, be careful when going to look at it. These things are getting more and more popular as days go on, and people are beating them up more and more, so just be careful. Honestly, I just recommend being careful to anybody with any of these cars. I just want to put that out there. But number 4 is the Infiniti G35 Sedan. Oh my god, underrated. Comes with a 3.5 liter V6, making 287 horsepower, and it is rear-wheel drive. This is most likely the fastest car on this list because it's not only a pretty lightweight, but it also has a huge horsepower number. They also do come with manuals. They're a sedan, so you got all the space of a sedan. They're rear-wheel drive. The VQ is a pretty good motor. There's really nothing wrong with the G35 Sedan, except for the fact that it's probably going to get some people in some serious danger because it does have a lot of horsepower. It's faster than you think it is. Coming in at 3rd place is my car. I just bought one of these, and I bought it for exactly $3,000 with absolutely zero issues besides the window not working. So I'm not lying to you, buddy. It's the Acura Integra. I love mine. Ever since I owned one, I will highly recommend buying one of these for everybody. Comes with a 1.8 liter inline 4, making 140 horsepower, and it is front wheel drive. Obviously, that's a little bit low in the horsepower range to be this high on the list, but it's a Honda. Everything about it is great. Comes with a B series. You can make insane power out of it. It looks really good, incredibly cheap. I bought two motor mounts and a transmission mount for $70 total. Boy, what? It's freaking so cheap. It's reliable as hell, super easy to work on. It really is a very friendly car for a high schooler, except for if you're like 6'7", because it's pretty small. But you know what's not small, and the opposite of that? The Titanic, or also known as the Lexus SC400. This thing is heavy AF, just like the Lexus LS400 that we talked about before. It's a heavy car, but I put this one so much higher because, in my opinion, It's way cooler. Comes with a 4-liter V8, same motor as the LS400, makes 270 horsepower, same amount of horsepower as the LS400, and it's rear-wheel drive, just like the LS400. So why do I like it better? Well, the SC400 is a little bit lighter, has way more sporty attributes to it. It doesn't have as much space, so if you are the kind of guy that wants a sedan, definitely look into that. But it also is, in my opinion, 1,000,000 times better looking. And the fact that you can still find these under 3K is mind-blowing. Well, in my opinion, the absolute best first car for just about anybody, really, for less than $3,000 in today's market, is the Acura TL 3rd generation. There's nothing wrong with this car at all. It comes with a 3.2-liter V6, making 258 horsepower in its front-wheel drive. Has high horsepower, sure, so you might be like, well, that's a little bit dangerous for a new type driver. Don't worry, it's front-wheel drive, so you won't be spinning out. It's a Honda, so it's reliable. It comes with a V6, which is pretty interesting because normally Hondas come with inline 4s. It looks really good. It's very comfortable because it's an Acura TL. You has tons of mods for it. Everything's cheap for it. It's great on gas. There's nothing wrong with the Acura TL 3rd generation. Nothing. If you are literally just a guy watching this video and you're just like, I want something that's kind of cool, but I want something that I can, still buy and not have to worry about it, and you don't really care that much about cars, the TL's 3rd gen is the best option for you. Even if you are a guy that loves cars and you love everything about them, the Acura TL 3rd generation is a good car for you. It really is just scratches all the itches. Comes with a manual, everything. Oh my god, just name it. It's got it. It's got everything. V12? No, sadly not. But everything else, it does have. But ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of today's video of the top 25 best first cars for high school car guys. Less than 3K. That is a long name. I'm going to have to shorten that name up in the title, but you guys get the idea. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. Let me know what other videos that you'd like to see in the comment section down below, and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this. You can see this face every day if you wanted to, guys. You can see this pretty little face every single day. All you got to do is press that subscribe button, hit that bell, join the notification squad. You would be, if you want to be cooler in high school, that's how you do it. Tell people that you subscribe to Mark Roden. They'll love you. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. Das Vidania, and have a nice night.